Hi, Third Rate Duelist. Welcome back to the Third Rate Duelist channel.
Hi.
And today we have ourselves an Ancient Gear.
And a sister.
Ancient Gear Golem deck. So this deck is a third rate deck. And I guess it wins because I won it in a tournament, so I'm proud. So first, we run 3 Ancient Gear Golem. Hang on. This card's really good. It's the staple of the deck. So basically, when you play it, if you normal summon it, you can burn your opponent for 600 damage. You know, like early damage. It's just really good. It's just really good. And when you play this card, you have the option. Well, not when you play it. It's just whenever you decide to in your main phase or second main phase. You can fusion summon with his effect. You can fusion summon cards from your hand and your field, including him if you want to fusion summon from the extra deck. So you could get your big bad boss monsters out with him. Like half the time you could get it out on your first turn. It's really good. Yeah. Next we run 3 Ancient Gear Wyvern. This card's really good as well. When you play him, you get to search your deck for an Ancient Gear card. It has to have Ancient Gear in its name. Not Gear Town. But you can't set spells or traps the turn you activate this card. But half the time, you don't really set spells or traps anyway, so it doesn't really hurt the deck in any way at all, and it's really good. Yes, it's true.
Most of your spells or traps are quick plays too, right?
Yes. And I believe this card says when this attacks...
You can't set, but you can still play your quick plays.
Yeah. Oh, and most of the Ancient Gears say when you attack, your opponent cannot activate spell or trap cards, except during the damage step. No, you can't activate spell or trap cards during the damage step. So that's really good. I run 2 box. This card is really good when you search it with Wyvern, because you probably... It's the search that you'd search with Wyvern. You can search one from the deck. And I'll show you you can search one Ancient Gear monster from your deck when you add this card to your hand from your deck. And right after this I'm going to show you. When you search this deck with box, you can search your deck for one other Ancient Gear monster and add it to your hand with 500 defense or 500 attack. And I'm going to show you what monster you would search with box to add to your hand when you search box to your hand with Wyvern. Okay, the monster that you would search is Ancient Gear Frame. It has 500 defense, so it's pretty good. And when you play this card, you can discard 1 card, and you can add 1 Ancient Gear Golem or 1 Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound from your deck to your hand. And when he is destroyed by card effect, by an opponent's card effect, it has to be an opponent's card effect, you can special summon up to 3 Ancient Gear Golem and Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound from your hand. So it's a really good card. You'd search it with your deck.
So when you play Wyvern, you search box.
Yes, you search box.
And then you search... When you search box from your hand, you search him.
You search frame.
And then you discard frame
from your
hand, right?
No, not from your hand. When you play him, you can discard one
so
card.
you do that the following turn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
3 is better than 1.
Really good. I run 3 Ancient Gear Golem. This card's pretty good. When it can't be special summoned, which doesn't really matter in this deck, because you're just using for fusion material.
From the hand.
From the hand, yeah, most of the time. Or from graveyard if, something dumb happens, like card destruction. So, your opponent can activate spell or trap cards when this attacks. And this does piercing battle damage as well, so it's really good. And it's a level 8, I believe. Yep. So you can get some pretty good stuff from that. But and it's 3,000 attack, but half the time you would just use it to fusion. We won 2 Ultimate Pound. This card is really good. Again, you just use it for fusion material. We're trying to keep the deck size as low as possible. So, I mean, if you want to, you can take out a Golem for another Ultimate Pound. It's entirely up to you, but this is just preferably what I run.
Is that one also 8?
Yes, it's level 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, yep, 8. And, yeah, sorry. When this attacks, your opponent can activate spells and trap cards, of course, and it's the same with Golem. And if the attack goes through on a monster, it has to attack a monster. Well, it doesn't have to, but if you attack a monster and the attack goes through, you can discard a card, and this card can attack again. So it's a really good card for like keep attacking, and you can send some stuff to your graveyard for like Overload Fusion as well. Yep, it's really strong. And when he leaves the field, you can add 1 poly from your deck to your hand, and when you add a poly from your deck to your hand, you can add 1 Ancient Gear from your graveyard to your hand, which would be, in theory, the one that you sent to the graveyard to attack to attack twice. But we don't run poly, but that effect doesn't really matter in this deck, because then again, we just use it to fusion. Very hardly we use them to attack, unless it's our only option.
Let's see the next card.
We run 2 Common Ash.
Common Ash.
And 1 Effect Veiler. I would bust this up to 2, but then again, we're trying to keep our deck size pretty small. So this is your negate. If your opponent tries to add a card from the deck to your hand, special summon from the deck, or send a card from the deck to your hand, you can say no and negate it.
Common Ash.
Yeah, Common Ash. Effect Veiler just targets 1 monster on your opponent's field during the main phase 1 or main phase 2, and you can negate the entire card's effects. Like the entire...
It interrupts their play.
Like, you can negate the entire paragraph. Basically. So it's a pretty good card. It's just really good for, stopping your opponent if they have stuff like Uni-Zombie for zombies. I run spells. 3 copies of Gear Town. This card isn't really good when it's on the field, but when it's destroyed, oh boy. So when it's on the field, you can normal summon one less level.
Potentially a level 5 can be normal summoned.
Yes, but it has to be an Ancient Gear monster. So I mean, it's okay, but we only use it for its second effect, where when it's destroyed, you can special summon 1 Ancient Gear from the deck or graveyard. So it's a really good card. You'd search Wyvern or Hunting Hound, just to add more pieces. It's just a really good card. And how will you destroy the card yourself, you're asking? Well, we got 3 copies of Ancient Gear Catapult. This card's really good for popping your Gear Town. So, yeah, really good. When you play it, you get to pop 1 spell or trap card on the field and special summon 1 Ancient Gear monster from the deck. So you'd special summon, Hunting Hound, Wyvern, Golem, just whichever you desire, like whatever situation you're in. And when this card is in the graveyard, you can banish it and pop 1 spell or trap card on the field. But you can only do 1 of the effects once per turn, and only 1. Like you can only use one or the other once per turn that turn.
Only 1.
Only 1. So it's pretty good. So you can't banish and pop a spell from them. So you can't play it, pop a spell, and then banish it. You can't do that in the same turn. You have to use one or the other. Pop it from banish it from the graveyard or play it from your hand. So I mean, there's a limitation, but it's still a really good card.
It works.
Yeah, it works. 2 Terraforming to search your Gear Town. Really good card, of course. It's just Terraforming and Foolish Burial. It's just a really good combo if you don't have Gear Town or Ancient Gear Catapult in your hand. And then we run 2 Foolish Burial, of course. You can send 1 from your extra deck. No, not your extra deck. But you can send 1 spell or trap card from your deck to your grave, and preferably Ancient Gear Catapult. And then you banish it from your field to get 1 Ancient Gear token. Banish it from your graveyard to get 1 Gear token. I don't think I talked about that. When you banish Catapult from your graveyard, you can get 1 Ancient Gear token. And then we run 2 Pot of Desires.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Bad advice.
No.
Yes.
Just skip ahead 30 seconds from here.
Basically, when you play this card, you can banish top 10 cards of your deck to draw your cards.
And that's going to be your Gear Towns and your Catapults. And all your Golems and Pounds.
No.
And you're just stuck with a Hound and that's it.
You use just your combo pieces with this card. It's just really useful.
That's half your deck.
Shut up.
That's banished.
No,
Face down.
Yes, it works. We won 1 Ancient Gear Fortress. I would bump this up to 2 and get rid of something else that you don't really like in the deck. But basically, when you play this card, it doesn't do anything when you play it. But when you normal summon an Ancient Gear monster, its effects cannot be. You cannot target it with effects for the duration of the turn, and you can't negate their summon. Like, you can't activate cards in response to their summon. So you can't Solemn Strike it or bad stuff like that. So it's a really good card. I only run one because I couldn't find another one. I won 2 limiter removals. This card's pretty good to double your Ancient Gear monster's attacks. Because when you play this card, it's also a quick spell, but when you play, you get to double the attack of all your machine monsters on the field, but they're destroyed at the end of the turn. So it's pretty good. There's only one card in the deck you can't target it, but it wouldn't really matter because you can just target the other ones. It's pretty good. Another spell is we play Monster Reborn. You know, special summon one from their graveyard or our graveyard. It's just a really good card. Some of them say must be fusion summoned, but you know, you can just summon your Hound or you can summon your Wyvern, you know, other stuff that's really useful at times. So it's pretty good. And you can special summon from the graveyard as well. So it's just a really good card.
You can special summon from many things.
Yep. One extra Fool's Burial. Don't run this. I just run it because I don't have Ancient Gear Fusion. I would switch this out for Ancient Gear Fusion, but I'm getting that later. I just don't have it with me at the moment. But this card's just really good. Sometimes you would send your extra deck, and then you would. I mean, you can pay half your life points, send one from your extra deck to your graveyard, and then you know you would overload fusion it, or you would Monster Reborn it. That's pretty good. We run one overload fusion. When you play this card, you can banish monsters from your graveyard. You know, like with extra Fool's Burial, you can banish the one that you sent from the graveyard. But you can banish Ancient Gear. You can banish machine monsters from your graveyard to special summon one dark machine monster from your graveyard. I don't think it has to be fusion summon. Yeah, you banish the fusion material that's listed on it. So, you know, you just get your big bad boss monster out. It's pretty useful at times. If you want to, you could send it up to 2, but, I mean, it's just up to you. 2 Power Bomb. This card is so good. When you play it, you can use cards from the field or the hand as fusion material, and the extra deck monster gains double its attack, but you take attack equal to its original attack. So I mean, it's okay. Like, the only downfall is that you're taking its original attack as yours, but half the time you're gonna hope that it gained that turn.
That's your OTK condition.
It's not the worst if you have other things.
You know, like there's a really evil card in this deck that's stupid. It's called Explosives. So you can target one Ancient Gear on the field, destroy it, and if you do, take half of its attack, and it goes direct damage, burn to your opponent. So it's just, I've won some games with this. It's just so evil, man.
It's the strongest.
It's not the strongest card,
but it's
like,
one of the strongest.
I mean, it helps to end turns, and like I was versing someone, and I attacked, and they still had like a lot of damage left. I mean, like they had around 2,000 something, and I popped one of my big monsters that had like 40,000 attack.
It destroys.
I mean, no, 4,000 attack. Yeah.
It
And I got burned for game, which this is so evil. Whoa, I dropped the card.
So much.
Alright, now time for the extra deck. We run 2 Howitzer. When you play this card during your main phase, you can it's once per turn during your main phase. You can burn your opponent for 1,000 damage. So you know, like burn for 1,000, then burn them for 500. Half the time you're not going to target Howitzer unless they have 500 LP or less. But I mean, it's just pretty good. Like it's a pretty good combo. But yeah, you'd want to put him in defense mode. You wouldn't want to use Power Bond in him. If it's your only option, yes, you could use Overload. But half the time you would just use 2 monsters because it takes 2 monsters to fusion summon him. And he's a level 8, I believe. Nope, he's level 10. So you could get one of my level 10 XYZ monsters that I have in this deck. Nope, it's a level 8. I'm sorry. But, and when he's destroyed by battle, I get to special summon 1 Ancient Gear monster from my deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, preferably one with really good defense if they're, like, you know, KOing you. So it's a pretty good card. And there's a nasty combo at the end I gotta show you. Next we run...
Card. Huh? Is it the last card?
No, not the last card. We run 1 Megaton Golem. I mean, if you want to, you can run 2, but I just run 1 because, you know, I don't really care. But when you play this card, if you, for as many Ancient Gear Golem, it takes 3 fusions, fusion material. It's level 9, by the way. But for as many Ancient Gear Golem and Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pounds, it can attack that many times. And it takes 3+ Ancient Gear monsters. So you can just use, you know, all 5 of your Ancient Gear. Like, if you're lucky enough, you can just use limited removal 66. And this, like, attack 5 times. It's so good. And then when it just leaves the field for no reason, well, for some reason, if it just leaves the field because of from just some card, you can special summon 1 Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem from your deck. Extra deck. I run 2 of them because, I mean, you could just take out 1 for another Megaton. But when you play this card, it must be fusion summoned. But you know, you can just use Megaton Golem. And if this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. I believe this one does piercing battle damage. No, it doesn't. Oh well. Well, it's fine. Because when you play this card, it can attack all. You know, your opponent can activate spell or trap card effects
during the battle phase.
Yeah, during the battle phase. And when it leaves the field, you can special summon 1 Ancient Gear Golem, or 1 Ancient Gear Golem in your graveyard, and special summon it, ignoring its summoning conditions. You know, like this leaves the field, you can special summon 1 Ancient Golem. If this is destroyed by battle or card effect, or like if it's just destroyed, you can special summon 1 Golem. Like you can just keep special summoning stuff, like after their effects, unless you know they.
What are you saying?
What I'm saying is, sorry. If this card leaves the field, special summon this from the deck. If this card is destroyed by a card effect, you can special summon 1 Ancient Gear Golem. That one.
So they got 3 cards to get through.
Yes.
If they manage to get the big guy off the field.
If this card's in your graveyard, or is it from the deck? Yep, it has to be in the graveyard. So like, if you'd fusion summon a Golem and, you know, like 3 other Ancient Gears, and you would attack. But if he leaves the field from any of, like, if he just leaves the field,
even when banished,
yes, he just has to leave the field.
When he left the field,
you can special summon Ultimate Pound, and then when he's destroyed by a card effect, special summon 1 Golem. So you have 3 cards to get through. So it's pretty good.
Only work when he leaves the field.
Yes. So I mean, you could steal his monster. He's still leaving my field. Well, no,
pop it back to hand.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
I would put him, make him a target for a Casting Magician or something like that too, just so he could leave the field.
Like that. Like that's half the time I use him. You know, like he's just leaving the field.
Let's see the next card.
This guy is your big boy, Chaos Ancient Gear Giant.
The big boy.
This guy is so overpowered. When you play him, well, he's unaffected by other spells or trap cards effect forever. It doesn't have to be during the battle phase. It's just forever. And your opponent can activate effects during the battle phase. So, you know, their monster effects are kind of useless during the battle phase.
I think he's more strong than the last card that was strong.
He is, but you can do some crazy combos with that card. This card is just straightforward attack. It can attack all your opponent's monsters, 1 each, and it does piercing battle damage. So if they got Scapegoat, ooh, sorry, man. Ooh.
That's your OTK card.
Yeah, this is, I mean, those can OTK as well, but this card is like your big boy, like your big boss, like 1 hit FTK.
That card wins you the duel.
Yeah, it's a dark, which I don't know what Konami was thinking, but I mean, you know, it is what it is.
Worse with Overload.
But yeah, that's what you would use Overload for. This specific card. That's why Overload is in this deck. So of course, unaffected by spells, this card can attack all of my opponent's monsters, 1 each. And if it attacks a defense, piercing battle damage. It's a pretty good card. Next is our XYZs. 1 Super Dreadnought Cannon Door. I don't know why people don't run this. I find it very useful at times. you'd summon it in defense mode because it has 4,000 defense and 3,200 attack. Oh, and the Golem has 4,500 attack. But you can't use limited removal or like the ancient gear explosives. But it's like but half the time you wouldn't do that anyway. So Super Dreadnought Cannondora, a level 10 XYZ. He's a level 10. Ultimate Pound's a level 10. I mean, no, not Ultimate Pound. Ultimate Ancient Gear's a level 10. Super Dreadnought Cannondora. Oops. When you play him in defense mode, you would detach an XYZ monster. You could target any monster on the field. It doesn't have to be one of yours. Yeah, and it's during either player's turn as well. You can target one face-up monster on the field, and its effects and it cannot be targeted by effects except for its own effects. So it's a really good card to like stop your opponent from banishing. If your opponent's trying to banish this monster, you can say no. It just wouldn't affect them at all. So it's really good. I would just used to get so mad if they banished my Ultimate Ancient Gear, or like they banished my Howitzer, and then I found this card. I'm like, wow, it helps. You wouldn't get it out as much as you would think you would, but it's just for precaution.
It saves the day.
Next, this card is so good. People don't run it because they don't think it's a good card. I think it's a really good card, especially in Ancient Gears. Takes 2 level 4s, 2 Wyverns or 1 Frame or 1 Wyvern. But basically, you discard 1 material from this card, and you can target 1 machine monster, I believe. You can target 1 machine type monster you control, and it can attack your opponent directly. It's so good, very good, especially with Megaton Golem. You would,
like Pound or
yeah, like just anything really. And when you play this card, well, no, you would limited removal this, and you say you use 3 Ancient Gear Golems to fusion for this. It can attack 3 times. Discard 1 material, pierce, direct. 3 times, 66 damage. 6,600 damage. It's just so good. I don't know what people are thinking nowadays, but I don't know. I just find it very useful. And when it leaves, if it's destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can just add 1 level 4. Not ancient. You can just add 1 level 4 machine type monster from your deck to your hand. Your Wyvern. Or,
Let's see it.
1 Cerberus and 1 Phoenix. Most people that are watching this probably know what these do. But when you play Cerberus, you can discard 1 card from your hand, and it's when you play. You can't just do it whenever you want. You can discard 1 card from your hand, and you can target 1 special summon monster your opponent controls in the main monster zone. You can destroy it. And if it's Call Link, you get to draw a card. So it's pretty good. And once per turn, all your Call Linked monsters cannot be destroyed by card effect, I believe. Yep. But that's with the Cerberus. And then with Phoenix, you can discard 1 card, target 1 spell or trap card on the field, and destroy it. It can't be your own. It has to be on your opponent's field, and so is Cerberus has to be on your opponent's field. So
but that would take care of field spells or trap.
Yeah, like traps, But with Ancient Gears, like
good against Dark Magicians.
Yeah, that stuff. Like Eternal Soul. And if it's Call Link, you get to draw a card. And once per turn, your Call Linked monsters cannot be destroyed by battle.
They work when they go together, right?
Yeah. Here's a pretty cool thing I was doing earlier. I also run 2 Underclock Takers. I'll tell you what that does later. But that's what you would do with that. So it's pretty good. Combo. Now, Underclock Taker, when you play... No, not when you play this card. You can target 1 card this card points to, and you can take its attack. Target 1 of your opponent's monsters, it loses that attack. But the monster that you targeted, it's not losing its attack at all. So you would target Ultimate Pound or Megaton Golem. You can target, like it would lose 33, it would lose 44.
At least some.
Yeah, like it would lose a lot of damage. I find it very, very useful. It's just so good. Completely overpowered.
So you would pitch your link material to the graveyard, power bond it by banishing it.
Yeah. Does it? Is it original attack?
Pretty sure it is.
Nope, it's not original attack.
Probably something else I didn't think about.
Yep, it loses attack equal to the attack of the target that this monster points to.
So you can use that to link, and then banish out of the graveyard, diffusion summon.
Yep.
And there's your combo.
There's only one exception you can't use, you know, wait. No, never mind, you could use it. Because you could, like, you would use Power Bond to get him out. 9,000 attack, because he's at 45 attack. Target one monster your opponent controls, it loses 9,000 attack, and then you just attack for game. I won I think one game like that. And then I run one Akashic Magician for Megaton Golem, or like just to send their monster back. That's
a lot of kids.
Yeah, but when you play this card, we don't use it for its second effect, but we use it for its first effect. When you play this card, you get to whoever it points to. Those two cards go back to the hand, I believe. Yep. Once per turn, you can target. Return all monsters this card points to the hand. And then there's its second effect, which I don't use, but I'm just going to tell you it anyway. You can declare one card name, excavate cards from the top of your deck equal to the total link rating of the link monsters co-linked to this card. Then if I excavated any copies of the declared card, I can add them to my hand. Also send the remaining to the graveyard. I mean, you know, overload, but we just, if I were you, I wouldn't really use its second effect in Ancient Gears. I mean, if you want to, I mean, there's, I don't really see a situation.
It's just bouncing.
Huh?
It's just bouncing the card back.
Yeah, like you just use it to bounce the card back to the hand, like Megaton Golem to use its effects.
Like
for your opponent.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just really good. So that's my Ancient Gear deck profile, and I'm gonna show you this nasty combo. So you have him, you have him on the field, right? You use Power Bond for 9,000 attack. Say you have the Hound on the field. You'd attack with Ancient Gear Giant for 9,000. Say they're at like, I don't know, 1,000 life points left. You would fusion these two for Howitzer. Burn them for game. And if that's not enough, explosives for game. I've done that so many times.
In a perfect world, that's a combo.
Yeah, in a perfect world. It's just so fun. But, yeah, that's a third-rate deck right there. I had fun. That was fun. Hope you all enjoyed my deck build. See you next time on the Third Rate Duelist.